First Contact Protocols. Commander Marcus Blackwood stood at attention before the massive viewing window of the Terran Defense Station Helios, his weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of Earth below. 20 years of military service hadn't prepared him for this moment. The first official diplomatic envoy from the Nexus Collective was due to arrive within the hour. "Sir, the collective vessel has dropped out of FTL," Lieutenant Santos reported from her console, dark eyes fixed on the holographic display. "They're following the designated approach vector perfectly." Marcus nodded, adjusting the collar of his formal dress uniform. The brass had been clear, this meeting could determine humanity's place among the stars. The Nexus Collective controlled most of the known trading routes in this sector of the galaxy, and Earth needed allies, not more enemies. The alien ship that emerged from the darkness was unlike anything Marcus had seen in his years of space combat. It moved with an almost organic grace, its crystalline surface refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. No weapons were visible, but Marcus knew better than to assume that meant they weren't there. "Docking procedure initiated," Santos announced. "Their diplomat is requesting permission to board." Permission granted. "Honor guard to the reception bay." Marcus straightened his shoulders and headed for the elevator. The station's corridors were unusually quiet, the usual bustle of military personnel replaced by an anticipatory hush. The reception bay doors slid open with a soft hiss, revealing a sight that made Marcus momentarily forget his diplomatic training. The alien diplomat who emerged from the airlock was tall and slender, with iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors with each movement. But it was her eyes that caught his attention, 3 of them, arranged in a triangle pattern, each a different shade of violet. "Commander Blackwood," she spoke, her voice carrying an otherworldly harmonic quality. "I am Kira Vesh, first voice of the Nexus Collective." She made a gesture that looked like a cross between a bow and a dance move, her body bending at impossible angles. Marcus started to return the traditional military salute but stopped when he noticed Kira Vesh's eyes widening in what he assumed was alarm. "Welcome aboard the Helios, first voice. I hope your journey was pleasant. Your concern for my comfort is noted, Commander." Kira Vesh's middle eye blinked independently of the others. "Though I must address something immediately. Your posture, it speaks of authority, of command. This is unexpected." Marcus frowned slightly. "I don't understand. In our research of your species, we were led to believe humans were submissive. That you would understand your place in the greater cosmic hierarchy." Her tone wasn't unkind, merely matter-of-fact. "Yet you stand as an equal." The implications of her words sent a chill down Marcus's spine. Someone had been feeding the collective false information about humanity, portraying them as a species ready to be subjugated. "I believe there's been a misunderstanding, first voice. Humanity stands as its own sovereign power. We seek allies, not masters." Kira Vesh's skin rippled with colors Marcus couldn't name. Fascinating. The data was indeed incorrect. She took a step closer, all 3 eyes focused intently on his face. "You should know, Commander, that my true purpose here is not merely diplomatic. I am also a truth-seer. My species can sense deception, read the subtle changes in energy fields that all living beings emit." Marcus maintained his composure, though his mind raced with the implications. "Then you know I speak the truth about humanity's position." "Yes," she admitted, her skin settling into a deep azure shade. "And this presents both a problem and an opportunity. The collective's leadership believed they were approaching a species ready for guidance. Instead, we find ourselves facing potential equals. Is that such a bad thing?" Marcus asked, noting how the honor guard had subtly shifted their positions, reading the tension in the air. Kira Vesh's response was interrupted by a sudden alarm blaring through the station. Lieutenant Santos's voice cracked over the comm, "Commander. 3 unidentified ships just dropped out of FTL. They're charging weapons." Marcus turned to Kira Vesh, whose skin had paled to an almost translucent state. Are they yours? No, she whispered, her harmonics taking on a different tone. They're the reason I'm really here. Commander, your species has been caught in the middle of something far more complex than a simple diplomatic mission. And now we have no choice but to trust each other, or we all die in the next few minutes. As the station's battle alerts began to sound, Marcus made a split-second decision that would change the course of human history. Then tell me everything, and tell me fast. We'll skip the diplomatic niceties and get straight to survival. The look Kiravesh gave him was unlike anything he'd seen in his years of first contact situations. It was respect, tinged with something that might have been hope. The dance of diplomacy. The Helios's command center erupted into controlled chaos as tactical displays lit up with threat assessments. Marcus watched as Kiravesh moved with fluid grace to the main strategic console, her iridescent fingers dancing over the holographic interface. They're Shadowcrest vessels, she explained, her three eyes rapidly scanning the data. A separatist faction within the collective that believes we should be conquering the galaxy, not trading with it. The central display showed 3 warships, their hulls covered in what appeared to be light-absorbing material. They've been sabotaging our diplomatic missions for months. Lieutenant Santos spoke up from her station, Commander, they're broadcasting on all frequencies. Audio only. Let's hear it, Marcus ordered, moving to stand beside Kiravesh. A harsh, grating voice filled the command center, surrender the Truth Seer, and your station will be spared. You have 5 minutes to comply. Marcus studied the tactical display. The Helios was a defensive station, well-armed but not designed to face 3 warships alone. Those ships, what are their weaknesses? Kiravesh's skin shifted to a deep crimson. Their stealth technology makes them nearly invisible to standard targeting systems, but... She hesitated, her middle eye focusing on Marcus. If I share this information, there's no going back. The collective's military secrets would be in human hands. And if you don't, we all die here. Marcus met her gaze steadily. Sometimes the best diplomacy is survival. A small trill escaped her, something Marcus realized was laughter. You are nothing like what our report suggested, Commander. Her fingers moved across the console again, bringing up detailed schematics. Their stealth systems generate a quantum field that absorbs energy signatures. But it has a critical flaw, it can be overloaded. Marcus leaned forward, studying the data. Santos, what's the status of the experimental pulse cannon? Online but untested, sir. Dr. Harrison says it might overload our power grid if we fire it. Perfect. Marcus straightened, a plan forming. Kiravesh, if we hit their ships with a massive energy pulse. The feedback would disable their stealth systems, she finished, her skin now pulsing with swirling patterns. But your weapon would have to be precisely calibrated to their field frequency. 4 minutes to deadline, sir, Santos reported. Marcus turned to Kiravesh. Your ship, can it transmit the exact frequency we need? Yes, but... Her skin rippled with concern. Commander, if we survive this, you must understand what sharing this technology means. I'm not just risking my position, I'm risking everything the collective stands for. 3 minutes, sir. Marcus made a decision. Lieutenant, patch me through to the Shadowcrest ships. When Santos nodded, he spoke clearly, this is Commander Blackwood. We reject your demands. The first voice is under our protection. Kiravesh's eyes widened as Marcus continued, furthermore, any attack on this station will be considered an act of war against both humanity and the collective. You have 1 minute to withdraw. The harsh voice returned, you don't know what you're protecting, human. The Truth Seer carries secrets that could tear the collective apart. Last chance, surrender her, or die with her. Targeting solutions uploaded from the collective ship, Santos reported. Pulse cannon charging, power levels at critical. Marcus watched the countdown tick away, feeling Kiravesh's presence beside him. Her skin had taken on a silvery sheen that seemed to mirror the starlight. "You know," he said quietly, "on Earth, when two parties share secrets in the face of a common enemy, we call that the beginning of trust." 30 seconds to deadline. Kiravesh's response was soft, almost musical. "In the collective, we have a similar concept. We call it, joining paths in the dark." She turned to face him fully. "Commander, what I'm about to share goes beyond military technology. The real reason the Shadowcrest wants me, it could change everything." 10 seconds. Marcus kept his eyes on the tactical display. "Tell me after we survive this." "Santos, on my mark, fire the pulse cannon. Target the lead vessel first." He glanced at Kiravesh. "Any last-second advice?" Her skin flickered with what might have been amusement. "Just one, in my experience, humans have a saying that fits this moment perfectly, go big or go home." Marcus couldn't help but smile. "I think I'm starting to like collective diplomacy." Santos, fire. The pulse cannon's discharge lit up space like a newborn star, the energy wave rippling outward in a perfect sphere. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the lead Shadowcrest ship flickered into full visibility, its stealth field collapsing in a cascade of failing systems. "Direct hit." Santos called out. "Their shields are down, wait, something's happening to the other ships." The energy pulse had created a chain reaction, the quantum feedback jumping from ship to ship. All three vessels now hung visible in space, their advanced technology rendered useless by the combination of human ingenuity and collective knowledge. "This is impossible," the Shadowcrest voice crackled over the comm. "How did you?" "I believe," Marcus interrupted, "this would be a good time to reconsider your attack plans. Our next shot won't be a warning." The Shadowcrest ships hung in space for a long moment before their engines flared to life. Without another word, they turned and disappeared back into FTL, leaving behind only the fading ripples of their quantum wake. As the command center erupted in cheers, Marcus turned to find Kiravesh studying him with an unreadable expression. "Something on your mind, first voice?" "Many things, Commander." Her skin had settled into a deep blue shade. "But primarily this, I came here expecting to find servants and instead discovered warriors. The question now is, are you ready to learn why the Shadowcrest truly fears what I know?" Beneath the surface. The private conference room aboard the Helios was designed for sensitive diplomatic meetings, its walls lined with the most advanced security screening technology Earth had developed. But as Marcus watched Kiravesh pace the room, her skin shifting through shades of deep purple, he wondered if any security measure could contain the weight of what she was about to reveal. "What I'm about to tell you," she began, her harmonics carrying an edge he hadn't heard before, "contradicts everything the collective has taught its members for the past 1,000 years." She stopped at the window, her three eyes reflecting the stars. "Our entire civilization is built on a lie." Marcus leaned forward in his chair, noting how the ambient light seemed to bend around her. "What kind of lie?" "The kind that keeps billions in willing submission." She turned to face him, her skin now rippling with patterns that made his eyes hurt. "The collective claims to be the oldest civilization in the galaxy, that we achieved space travel while other species were still learning to make fire. But I've found evidence that suggests otherwise." The door chimed, and Lieutenant Santos entered with a secure data tablet. "The analysis you requested, Commander. Dr. Harrison says the energy readings from the Shadowcrest ships don't match any known technology." "Because it's not their technology," Kiravesh said softly. "It's yours." Marcus took the tablet but kept his eyes on the alien diplomat. "Explain." "The quantum stealth technology, the advanced propulsion systems, even our supposed biological superiority, it's all reverse-engineered from ruins we found scattered across the galaxy. Ruins that bear striking similarities to." She gestured at the tablet in Marcus's hands, "current human technological development patterns." The implications hit Marcus like a physical blow. "You're saying Humanity isn't just another emerging species. Kiravesh's middle eye fixed on him intensely. You're the descendants of those who came before. The ones we've been copying for centuries, claiming their achievements as our own. Santos whispered a curse in Spanish, her dark eyes wide. That's why the Shadowcrest wanted to stop this diplomatic mission. If this gets out, the collective's authority crumbles, Kiravesh finished. Our entire hierarchy is based on the belief that we are the source of all advanced civilization. But the truth is, we're the students, not the teachers. Her skin rippled with what Marcus now recognized as anxiety. And some of us believe it's time to stop pretending. Marcus stood, moving to the window beside her. How did you discover this? I'm a truth seer. We're supposed to be the guardians of collective knowledge, trained to detect deception in others. But some of us began to sense inconsistencies in our own historical records. She raised a hand, and Marcus watched in fascination as her skin became almost transparent, revealing complex patterns of light flowing beneath. This ability, what makes us truth seers, it's not natural evolution. It's engineered. And the base genetic markers match sequences found in human DNA. Commander, Santos interjected, the long-range sensors are picking up multiple FTL signatures. Large fleet formation, bearing directly for Earth. Marcus felt his jaw tighten. The Shadowcrest called for reinforcements. No, Kiravesh's voice carried a new urgency. This would be the collective's main fleet. They must have been monitoring the Shadowcrest attack. Her skin paled to an almost ghostly white. They're coming to silence the truth before it can spread. How much time? 6 hours at most. She moved to the tactical display, bringing up a star chart. They'll establish a blockade, demand my return, and if refused. Her voice trailed off. They'll make an example of us, Marcus finished grimly. Show the galaxy what happens when someone challenges their authority. He turned to Santos. Get me Admiral Chen. Priority Alpha. As Santos hurried out, Kiravesh caught Marcus's arm. The touch sent a strange tingling sensation through his uniform. Commander, you don't understand. This isn't just about preserving the collective's power. There's something else, something worse. Her skin began to display patterns he'd never seen before, complex geometries that seemed to fold in on themselves. The technology we've been copying, we never fully understood it. Some of the systems we've built are becoming unstable. The quantum fields are starting to collapse. And that means? It means that without the original knowledge, your people's knowledge, countless worlds could face technological catastrophes. Entire populations could be wiped out when their copied systems fail. She released his arm, her skin settling into a deep, midnight blue. The collective's leadership knows this is coming, but they'd rather risk billions of lives than admit they need help. Marcus ran a hand through his short-cropped hair, mind racing through options. So we have 6 hours to prevent a war, save billions of lives, and somehow convince the most powerful civilization in the galaxy to admit they've been lying for 1,000 years. A small trill escaped Kiravesh, that alien laugh again. Actually, Commander, we have 5 hours and 47 minutes. Her middle eye blinked. But there is one other option, though it's never been attempted in collective history. I'm listening. As a truth seer, I have the authority to initiate what we call a unity meld, a direct sharing of consciousness between species. It would allow me to share everything I know instantly, providing you with proof that would be impossible to deny. Her skin rippled with uncertainty. But it's dangerous. The neural load could be fatal to either or both participants. Marcus studied her for a long moment. And if it works? Then you would have everything, the proof, the technical knowledge to prevent the catastrophes, even the ability to prove humanity's true heritage. She stepped closer, all 3 eyes glowing softly. But Commander, you need to understand what I'm offering. This isn't just information sharing. It's intimate. You would know me completely, as I would know you. Every thought, every memory, every secret. The room fell silent except for the soft hum of the station's systems. Outside the window, Earth turned slowly, unaware of the decision being made in its orbit that would determine its fate. Breaking protocol. The medical bay of the Helios hummed with tension as Dr. Harrison finished attaching the neural monitors to Marcus's temples. The elderly scientist's hands were steady, but his voice carried clear concern. Commander, the risks of this procedure are completely unknown. We have no way to predict how human physiology will react to this. Unity meld. Kira Vesh stood nearby, her skin cycling through deep shades of blue and violet. Similar monitors adhered to her crystalline flesh, pulsing softly in sync with her alien rhythms. For hours until the fleet arrives, she reminded them quietly. We're running out of options. Marcus caught his reflection in a nearby screen. The neural monitors made him look like some kind of cyborg. Doctor, what's your professional opinion? Can the human brain handle this kind of neural load? Harrison adjusted his wire-rimmed glasses, studying the baseline readings. The brain is remarkably adaptable, but this. He gestured at the complex data streams flowing across his monitors. This is like trying to download an ocean into a coffee cup. The information density alone could cause severe trauma. Could cause. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Best case scenario, you gain access to the knowledge we need. Worst case. The doctor's voice trailed off. Total neural collapse, Kira Vesh finished. Her middle eye fixed on Marcus with an intensity that made the hair on his neck stand up. Your mind would burn out trying to process the input. Even if you survived physically, you might never wake up. Lieutenant Santos entered the medical bay, her usual composure slightly shaken. Sir, Admiral Chen is demanding an update. The fleet's approaching faster than we anticipated, new ETA 3 hours, 40 minutes. They're pushing their engines to the limit. Marcus nodded, then turned to Harrison. Doctor, give us the room. Santos, maintain position but begin evacuation protocols for non-essential personnel. If this goes wrong, I don't want unnecessary casualties. As they left, Kira Vesh moved closer, her skin now emanating a soft, phosphorescent glow. There's something else you should know before we begin. The Unity meld, it's not just information transfer. It's complete sharing. You'll experience my memories as if they were your own, feel what I've felt. Her harmonics carried a note of what might have been embarrassment. Including emotions. Having second thoughts? Marcus asked, noting how the light seemed to bend around her in complex patterns. No, she replied softly. But you should understand why this has never been attempted with non-collective species. The intimacy of it, my people consider it sacred. Some would call this blasphemy. Marcus considered this. And what do you call it? Necessary. She raised her hand, letting it hover near his face. Are you ready? Wait. He caught her wrist gently, surprised by the warm, almost electric sensation of her skin. Why me? You could have taken this information anywhere, to any species. Why risk everything to bring it to Earth? Her 3 eyes seemed to look through him, into him. Because when I first touched your mind, back in the docking bay, I sensed something I'd never encountered before. Your species has a quality we lost long ago in our pursuit of perfection, adaptability. You don't just survive change, you thrive on it. The collective fears this about you, but I believe it's exactly what we need. The station's alert system chimed softly. 3.5 hours remaining. Marcus released her wrist. Do it. Kira Vesh's hand made contact with his temple, and the world exploded. Colors he had no names for flooded his vision. He was falling through memories that weren't his, ancient halls filled with impossible technology, secret meetings in crystalline chambers, the weight of 1,000 years of lies pressing down on generations of truth-seers. He felt Kira Vesh's determination, her fear, her hope. And something else. Something unexpected. The memories shifted, became more personal. He saw himself through her eyes during their first meeting, felt her surprise and fascination with his unexpected strength of will. Felt her growing admiration, her internal conflict as she realized that completing her mission meant putting all of humanity, in danger. Then the deeper memories hit. The ruins scattered across the galaxy, each one bearing marks of human origin. The growing horror as she and other truthseers realized the scale of the deception. The desperate race to prevent technological collapse as copied systems began to fail. Marcus gasped as a new wave of information crashed through his mind. Technical specifications, quantum theories, genetic codes, knowledge that had been accumulated over centuries of studying human artifacts. But seeing it through collective eyes revealed the gaps, the misunderstandings, the potentially catastrophic errors in their implementation. Hold on, Kiravesh's voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. The neural load is approaching critical levels. He could feel his consciousness beginning to fragment under the strain. The human mind wasn't meant to process this much information at once. But beneath the flood of technical data, he felt something else building, a connection that went deeper than memory or knowledge. Through their linked minds, he sensed Kiravesh's growing concern. Your neural patterns are becoming erratic. We need to stop. No, he gritted out. Keep going. Show me everything. The final wave of memories hit like a supernova. He saw the full scope of the crisis facing the collective, failing systems, unstable technologies, and the desperate pride that prevented them from admitting their dependence on human innovation. But he also saw the solution, hidden in the very structure of their shared consciousness. The unity meld wasn't just about transferring information. It was proof that humans and the collective could connect on the deepest level, that they were more compatible than anyone had imagined. The key to saving billions of lives wasn't just in sharing technical knowledge, it was in combining their species' strengths. As this realization crystallized, Marcus felt his mind beginning to shut down under the strain. The last thing he heard was Kiravesh's harmonic voice, filled with emotions he now understood perfectly. Stay with me, Commander. We're almost. Then darkness took him. The new dawn. Marcus awakened to the steady beep of medical monitors and a strange sensation, as if his thoughts were echoing in someone else's mind. When he opened his eyes, he found Dr. Harrison and Lieutenant Santos hovering over him, their faces etched with concern. Welcome back, Commander, Harrison said, checking readings on his tablet. You've been unconscious for nearly 2 hours. 2 hours. Marcus sat up abruptly, ignoring the wave of dizziness. The collective fleet. 1 hour out, Santos reported. But sir, something's different. They've slowed their approach and are requesting, well, you should see for yourself. Marcus turned to find Kiravesh standing by the window, her skin glowing with a soft, pearlescent light he somehow knew meant hope and anticipation. The unity meld had left him with more than just information, he could read her emotional states as clearly as human expressions. It worked, she said, her harmonics carrying a note of wonder. The meld created a permanent connection. Partial, but stable. Marcus nodded, discovering he could sense the edge of her thoughts, like whispers just beyond clear hearing. The knowledge transfer. Complete. She moved closer, her 3 eyes studying him intently. You now possess everything I knew about the collective's true history and their technological crisis. But you gained something else, something unexpected. The ability to prove it all. Marcus stood carefully, testing his balance. His mind felt different, expanded somehow, as if new neural pathways had been forged. I can access your memories, your experiences. I can demonstrate the truth in a way no one can deny. And I, Kiravesh added, her skin shimmering with complex patterns, now understand humanity in ways no member of the collective ever has. Your persistence, your adaptability, your capacity for forgiveness, they're not just concepts to me anymore. I've experienced them. "Sir," Santos interrupted, "the collective fleet is hailing us. Their admiral is requesting a direct conference with you and the first voice." Marcus shared a look with Kiravesh, feeling their shared understanding of what needed to be done. "Put them through to the main conference room." "And Santos?" "Alert Admiral Chen that he might want to witness this." The conference room's holographic display filled with the image of Admiral Vexthor, Supreme Commander of the collective fleet. His crystalline form was larger than Kiravesh's, his skin a deep, authoritative purple. "Commander Blackwood," the Admiral's harmonics carried carefully controlled anger, "you are harboring a fugitive who has stolen state secrets. Return First Voice Kiravesh immediately, or we will be forced to take more direct action." Marcus stepped forward, deliberately letting his newfound awareness show in his posture and expression. "Admiral, before you make threats, I suggest you listen carefully to what I'm about to say." He began speaking in perfect collective harmonics, describing technical details that only a high-ranking member of their society should know. The Admiral's skin paled to a shocked white. "Impossible. The unity meld is forbidden with non-collective species. The neural load alone should have killed you." "Should have," Marcus agreed, switching back to English. "But it didn't. Instead, it proved something your leadership has feared since you first discovered human ruins: we're not just some primitive species you can deceive or intimidate. We're the key to your survival." Kiravesh moved to stand beside him, her skin synchronized with his emotional state. "The technological collapse is accelerating, Admiral. The quantum field generators on Proxys 9 failed last week. 3 more systems are showing critical instabilities. How many more will die while the collective clings to its pride?" The Admiral's image flickered as he received urgent communications from his staff. Finally, his skin shifted to a deep, formal blue. "The Council will never accept this breach of protocol. The unity meld was sacred, reserved only for those who could be trusted with the collective's future," Marcus interrupted. "Look at your own readings, Admiral. The meld didn't just transfer information, it created a stable connection between our species. Proof that humans and the collective are more compatible than anyone imagined." "We're not asking the collective to surrender its authority," Kiravesh added. "We're offering a partnership. Humanity's innovation combined with collective wisdom. Together, we can prevent the catastrophes and build something greater than either of our civilizations could achieve alone." The Admiral was silent for a long moment, his skin cycling through various shades as he processed the implications. "And if we refuse? Then we'll share the truth anyway," Marcus said firmly. "Not as a weapon, but because billions of lives are at stake. The choice isn't between keeping or losing power, Admiral. It's between adaptation and extinction." Hours later, as the combined human and collective diplomatic teams began the complex process of drafting a new alliance, Marcus found Kiravesh in the observation dome. She stood bathed in Earth's reflected light, her skin displaying patterns he now recognized as contentment mixed with lingering anxiety. "Having second thoughts?" he asked, moving to stand beside her. "About preventing an interstellar war and saving billions of lives?" Her middle eye blinked in what he'd learned was amusement. "No. About the personal implications of our connection, perhaps." Marcus felt the edge of her concern through their link. "Because now neither of us can hide anything from the other. Because now there's no protocol for what we are to each other." She turned to face him, her skin shifting to colors that made his heart race. "The unity meld wasn't just about sharing information, Marcus. It created something unprecedented, a bridge between species that can never be broken. Is that such a bad thing?" He reached out, letting his fingers trace the luminescent patterns on her arm. "Seems to me that breaking protocols is what got us here in the first place." Her skin lit up with colors he now knew meant joy, hope, and something deeper. "The collective believes that change is dangerous, that protocol keeps us safe." She stepped closer, her alien features somehow more beautiful now that he could truly understand them. But you've shown me that sometimes the greatest safety lies in taking risks. As their lips met, another broken protocol, Marcus felt their shared consciousness buzz with possibility. Through their connection, he sensed the changes already rippling through both their civilizations, fear giving way to curiosity, suspicion to hope, isolation to connection. They had created something entirely new, something that would reshape the galaxy. Not through force or deception, but through understanding and trust. And that was just the beginning.